Oh, wow. What's up? How are we doing today? Wait, what is this? Palestinians are exhuming bodies from the grounds of the Nasser Medical Complex Hospital complex in Khan Yunis, Gaza. This is occurring at the same location where mass graves were dug and burial ceremonies had taken place by Palestinians in recent months. Proof in this thread. Footage from Palestinians digging graves/mass graves dated January 25th, through 28th of January and February, while IDF entered the hospital around 15th of February. Quote from Al Jazeera. In the hospital courtyard, civil defense members and paramedics have retrieved 180 bodies buried in this mass grave by the Israeli military. Conclusion. This is disinformation by Al Jazeera and others. This is a known graveyard/mass grave and at least partially dug by Palestinians. This does not exclude that graves could have been added when the hospital was occupied by Palestinian forces. Is this genuinely or generally a reputable account? Reputable. Was the last time we saw Richard lose face-to-face Homestar Cup 5? I have no idea. I feel like it was within the past few years, but I'm not sure. This account is with Bellingcat? Oh, okay. From 15,000 to 5,000 fighters. Wait, for which thing? Oh, good job. Good catch. Wait, what? Okay, never mind. How would you feel about hosting debates on bridges with you as the moderator? If I found people who would want to do it, yeah, that'd be fun, I think. Okay. I'm trying to pace out what I should work on or how we should do stuff. I think my goal for this timeline is I should work on one card per day. Get one card, make it nice with as much information as I think needs to be there, and then I kind of do that. And then, assuming the template here is good, which I think this template is fine for now, I think we should also do 1 card per day for the United States. Because why the fuck not? Don't need this anymore. One thing that I'm curious about. No, I'm not curious about. What do you think? Curious where to start U.S. history. When was the first colony in the New World from Great Britain? The very first one was in 1607. God damn. Really? Or I guess it would be England. Yeah, you're right. What is Great Britain? Is Great Britain the island? Britain is the island. Britain and Great Britain are the same thing, right? England is a country. The United Kingdom is the 4 countries of Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland, and England. Are Britain and Great Britain the same thing? Are they both the island? Britain versus Great Britain. There is no difference between Britain and Great Britain. Okay. So it should just be England. But do you think it's worth getting into any of this stuff? Did you read my schizo post on Hassan in 1948? Oh, the Plandalet stuff? Yeah, I read through that actually. Yeah, I feel like I want to catch everything that leads up to the revolution, obviously. Damn. Wait, is this real? This is the original brick from 1607 if you go and visit this. It hasn't been super renovated or facelifted or anything at all. Oh, but it was built in the 1700s, not the 1600s. Cringe. Can you explain what exactly is traditional about the J&J vaccine? I believe the Johnson & Johnson vaccine uses a deactivated virus. I think it's called an adenovirus vaccine. Use a disabled adenovirus to deliver the instructions. So I think it's basically a virus that has the same, I think spike protein thing, but it's not, there's no way for it to create more copies of itself in your body. So basically a microchip? Yeah. Can you name any other vaccine that works like that? I'm sorry, hold on. Can you just say, is there something you want to say? Or my understanding is that this type of vaccine technology was not novel for this J&J vaccine. Isn't this a pretty common way to create? That guy is a Pfizer chemist, no joke. Adenovirus vaccines are not really new. Adenoviruses are really, really common, and they're really ubiquitous viruses. They tend to cause the common cold, pink eye. Adenovirus vaccine is a virus that has been altered so that it can't make you sick, it can't replicate, it cannot integrate into your DNA. So it takes really important parts of that virus genome, which is actually adenovirus is like a Trojan. Adenovirus vaccines. Currently, adenovirus-based vaccines are used against a wide variety of pathogens, including Mycobacterium tuberculosis, human immunodeficiency virus, and Plasmodium falciparum. To date, several adenovirus-based vaccines are in clinical and preclinical trials. Vaccines developed against HIV, Ebola virus, influenza virus, blah, 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 are currently under human clinical trials. There are also vaccines under preclinical trials developed against rabies virus. Oh, so maybe most of these are still in clinical trials now for them? Meanwhile, adenovirus-based vaccines for severe have been authorized for emergency use amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. Adenovirus-based vaccines are prepared by inserting a traditional cassette into the adenovirus backbone through direct cloning or homologous recombination. Okay. There won't be another Bernie in my lifetime. Oh my God. Should you choose a starting date? Not yet. As a physician practicing in the U.S., the terms registered and COVAs don't mean anything to me. What is a COVA? I have no idea what the fuck that even means. Pirate Software announced full-time salary and benefits for moderators and staff, medical, dental, vision, and life insurance. What the fuck? Thank you for everyone in the community for the immense amount of support over the last 6 months. As a result, tomorrow we're finally able to hire on a number of the moderators and other staff full-time. All of the U.S. employees are receiving benefits, including medical, dental, vision, and life insurance. They also have a company retirement plan to make sure they're set up for the far future. All of the international employees are being paid rates comparable to the total income, including benefits of the U.S. employees. What? The international employees are all on contract and are free to pick and choose their hours for whatever works best for them. I refuse to pay lowered rates for our staff that are in countries with a purchasing power disadvantage. Everyone is paid the same rate within their role, regardless of territorial lines. As of now, we're able to tighten this pay gap to $118 per year. The next step is building the permanent home for the ferret rescue. How big is this streamer guy? Does this guy have like 100,000 concurrent viewers? He also operates his game dev studio. How many game devs does he, or how many games does he publish? Oh, Jesus, fuck. Holy shit, that's a lot of views. Wait, I thought this broke down. Video views between shorts and normal ones. Am I crazy? Oh, look at the right. Oh, I see. It's over here. It doesn't break it down over here. Oh, okay. So this is... Oh, this is a lot of shorts views. Okay. Jesus, gotcha. So of his 115 million views, 114 million views, about 1.7 million are like ordinary video views. Over 112 million are from shorts.
This guy could be the best. So, after you have identified a way to bait him into baiting you into getting Ligma, you, as the junior, need to unwittingly walk in.
10 to 15,000 concurrent viewers. Damn.
I'd say.
That's just so much money. How many subs does this guy have? He broke the hype train record. $54,380 sub gifts and 8.2 million bits. Is 100 bits $1? So that's about $80,000, and then 54,000 sub gifts is around $200,000. I don't know how much they give, how much subs count for on Twitch anymore. What do you make of none of Trump's family coming to his trial yesterday? No clue.
We were just looking at this a few moments ago, some of these side panel excerpts during the commercial break. Judge Merchan raising his voice, quote, "I'm asking the questions. I'm going to be the one who decides whether your client is in contempt." Judge Merchan says he's been asking Trump's attorney questions. He isn't getting answers. Judge to Trump attorney, what I do see is I keep asking you over and over again for a specific answer. I'm not getting an answer. He sounds frustrated.
Yeah, to say it at the least, Jim, it's not going well for Todd Blanche right now. Trump's attorney, of course, who is defending his comments, or at least trying to, in this gag order hearing. But the judge is getting quite frustrated with Todd Blanche, and really where the point of tension began, as Todd Blanche was defending it, saying that Trump had not violated this gag order, even though the prosecutors just pointed to 10 instances where they said that he had. The judge was asking Todd Blanche, well, what specific post from Michael Cohen is Trump responding to? Because they were arguing that it was this barrage of legal attacks, and Todd Blanche clearly not providing that specific post, instead just kind of referring to them in the general sense. And the judge is getting quite frustrated with that, saying, I am very clearly asking you for something specific that you can point to here as to say why this was something that Trump was responding to. And instead, clearly, that argument is not going over well with Judge Merchan and how Todd Blanche is defending it. Right now, you see Todd Blanche saying, quote, no, he's attacking the people in the system for not prosecuting Michael Cohen for lying. That's because they're talking about a post where Trump went after and asked why the district attorney here, Alvin Bragg, who brought this case, did not prosecute Michael Cohen for lying here. So they are going through every specific post that Trump has, and CNN's Paula Reed is back here with me. And Paula, what's notable is Judge Merchan is kind of going through what we have seen, Trump do on social media, his kind of tactics that we remember well from the Trump White House. But when Trump says, well, I just found this, I just saw this, and Trump posted that the other day saying, I just saw this statement from Stormy Daniels from 6 years ago where she was denying having a sexual encounter with Donald Trump. And Todd Blanche is now arguing there are two systems of justice, saying that Alan Weisselberg, the former CFO of the Trump org, and arguing what happened to him. He's obviously in jail right now. And the judge is arguing to Todd Blanche, there's two systems of justice going on in this courtroom. It's not going well for Todd Blanche.
It's not. Let's talk about who Todd Blanche is, right?
Why can't Trump just shut the fuck up? Oh my God.
The top tier of Trump lawyers. This is a serious attorney who did not show up to court today to antagonize the judge or make a scene, which we have seen with some of Trump's other lawyers. He is trying to make the best argument he can in a situation that his client has made pretty unwinnable for him. And what he's trying to do is make macro arguments about the Constitution, about the system, as you see there, and the unfairness, but the judge wants to go micro and go post by post by post. And arguably, Caitlin, some of these posts are indefensible in the context of the gag order, and that's why the judge is getting really frustrated.
And I mean, but to The fact that this is where this argument is right now, where the judge is saying, oh, are you arguing that there's two systems of justice happening right now here in this courtroom? Because obviously that's what this judge cares about. He's not arguing about the broader, justice system. Todd Blanche is saying, well, this is an argument that Trump has been making for a long time.
And here is where things diverge between the courtroom, where that argument is not going to go over well with the judge, and then the court of public opinion. I mean, this is what Trump is trying to get across to his supporters, that this is unfair, that he can't attack Michael Cohen, but Michael Cohen can attack him. But that, in a court of law, that's how gag orders work if he is a witness.
And you see there the judge responding, that's just silly, to the latest argument from Trump's attorney, where he was saying that because the DA's office and the court are not taking action for every single violation, that the gag order is waived.
Well, that is just silly. I mean, of all the constitutional, I love a good political speech argument, but like the idea that they waived it because they're not arguing every single violation, I mean, that's absurd.
Yeah, the judge was saying that Todd Blanche is suggesting that because arguing that the DA's office and the court are not going after every single one, that it's waived. I mean, that's essentially blaming them for not listing every single time that Trump has violated this gag order.
It makes no sense. And then you're also inviting or...
What's a gag order? I think for some ongoing trial stuff, you're not allowed to make public statements or comments about it. It's a gag order. You're not supposed to talk about it. That could be like mentioning the trial, the proceedings. I think the witnesses, it just depends. And I think Trump has been making tweets that are probably in violation of that gag order. And so now it sounds like they're arguing about those in court.
Suggesting that there should be more litigation, perhaps a hearing every day before court starts. That is not a serious argument. I mean, throughout this hearing...
Trump has been talking about judges' kids and shit. Link the tweet. No shot.
Blanche is trying to make some serious arguments about what they perceive as unfairness. These are not going to carry the day. These are not going to be winning legal arguments, but it's pretty much the best he can.
Judge lashes out at Donald Trump's lawyer during hearing on gag order. Trump's... Wait. Trump targets New York hush money trial judge's daughter day after gag order. Donald Trump again targeted on social media the daughter of the judge in his upcoming criminal hush money trial. The presumptive Republican nominee, presidential nominee's Truth Social post came one day after the judge imposed a gag order limiting what Trump could say about the case. What did he say? Judge Juan Merchan, who is suffering from an acute case of Trump derangement syndrome, whose daughter represents crooked Joe Biden. This is this is not the current judge like overseeing his case, right? What is... This is more senile. You understand, this is more senile than probably every single thing Biden has done combined. Why would you... New York judge overseeing Donald Trump's hush money trial will take center stage in the case Monday, with jury selection kicking off. Why would you do this? What's wrong with talking about a judge's daughter? What about freedom of speech? Because there's a gag order, you fucking retard. I don't know what the gag order covers. Even if there wasn't a gag order, how fucking retarded would you have to be to talk shit about the judge overseeing your fucking trial and their family? Adam Shifty Schiff and other radical liberals has just posted a picture of me behind bars, her obvious goal, and makes it completely impossible for me to get a fair trial. Has now issued another illegal, un-American, unconstitutional order as he continues to try and take away my rights. This judge, by issuing a vicious gag order, is wrongfully attempting to deprive me of my First Amendment right to speak out against the weaponization of law enforcement, including the fact that crooked Joe Biden, Merrick Garland, and their hacks and thugs are tracking and following me all across the country, obsessively trying to persecute me while everyone knows I have done nothing wrong. Keep in mind, Donald Trump is the only president that's called on the DOJ to actually prosecute somebody, right? Keep in mind that Donald Trump's the one that did that, but okay. Holy shit. Page 2. So let me get this straight. The judge's daughter is allowed to post pictures of her dream of putting me in jail. The Manhattan DA is able to say whatever lies about me he wants. Hold on. When we say judge, it's not like these guys live together, right? I'm assuming the judge's daughter is a full-on adult human being. Why the fuck is he even looking at this person's Twitter account? What the fuck? The judge can violate our laws and constitution at every turn, but I am not allowed to talk about the attacks against me and the lunatics trying to destroy my life and prevent me from winning the 2024 presidential election, which I am dominating. Maybe the judge is such a hater because his daughter makes money by working to get Trump, and when he rules against me over and over again, he is making her company and her richer and richer. How can this be allowed? The judge has to recuse himself immediately and right the wrong committed by not doing so last year. If the biased and conflicted judge is allowed to stay on this sham case, it will be another sad example of our country becoming a banana republic, not the America we used to know and love. These are election interfering witch hunts. We will crush each of these hoaxes and make America great again. Jesus fuck. Highly conflicted, to put it mildly, Judge Juan Mercan, is it Mercan or Merchan, has taken away my constitutional right to free speech. Everybody is allowed to talk and lie about me, but I am not allowed to defend myself. This is a kangaroo court, and the judge should recuse himself. It's got to be, they must think they've, my guess is they've lost this case, and the judge knows it. Not the judge, the defense knows it. That's the only thing I can think of. He's like, bro, you're fucked on this one. So go crazy. Go for a mistrial, maybe? I don't even know. What do you do? There's... Trump falsely accuses hush money judge's daughter of posting pictures of him behind bars. A new Twitter account that was created in April 2023 using Lauren Merkin's old handle. Oh no. Donald Trump made a claim of so-called bias in his New York hush money trial on Wednesday. The daughter of Juan Mercan, the judge assigned to the case, appears to have an X account with a profile picture depicting Trump behind bars. There's only one problem. The account's veracity is dubious at best, with a creation date of April 2023. Analysis of the Twitter ID associated with the account shows that Judge Juan Mercan's daughter, Lauren's known Twitter account that she has used since 2016, had its name changed and was set private at some point last spring. It wasn't even her. Holy shit. Why Mercan changed her username and went private is also unknown, but it appears to have happened before April 4th last year, when a Breitbart article about her reported that her Twitter account appeared to be deleted, weeks after Judge Mercan was announced as the judge who would preside over what is now likely to be Trump's first criminal trial next month. Jesus. At this level, can you go for a mistrial? My understanding, this is like stuff I've heard from Legal Eagle and other lawyers, so I don't know how true this is. But my understanding is that for a federal judge to recuse themselves is a really big deal. But this isn't even a federal case, right? Isn't this a New York case? Do state judges recuse themselves with a lower bar? I don't know. I do know that because I know this came up a lot when I know this came up a lot for the Mar-a-Lago case, because people are like, oh, the Florida judge is not this is a biased judge, she should recuse, blah blah blah. But I think that for a federal judge to recuse themselves, it's a really high bar to pass. It's a really big deal. But this case is a state case, so maybe it's not the same. I don't know. I'm not sure. It would be actually smart of Trump if he's doing that just to get a mistrial. No, that's not smart. Why would you think that's smart, you fucking retard? Oh, I figured out how you hack the court system. I'm just going to say a lot of crazy, unhinged shit, and then mistrial. That's like I feel there must have been a movie or some retarded YouTube video that made you fucking retards think that you can just like force a mistrial through stupid autistic memery, and that's like the hacking code to get out of like all criminal charges. Like, my guess is you're more likely to get arrested for obstruction of justice or have like additional charges levied on you. Mistrial. I got a wacky break gag order. Mistrial. Then why the gag order? I don't even know if gag orders are that uncommon. Are you allowed to talk about how common? I mean, we can look it up. How common are gag orders criminal cases? Gag orders tend to be more common in high-profile cases that attract media coverage, so they often seem more common than in actuality. Typically, judges will consider current media coverage and the likelihood that publicity will improperly impact a case. I thought that you usually gag order stuff if there's a likelihood that witnesses or juries will be impacted by the media coverage, right? So technically, a jury is now, in practice, isn't perfect, but technically a jury is only supposed to be able to take into account what's presented in front of them in trial that hasn't been objected to or stricken from the record. But if let's say the jury's listening to a case and they hear everything, let's say, for example, so for your pretrial stuff, evidentiary stuff is really important. What evidence is allowed to be submitted? What evidence isn't allowed to be submitted? Well, let's say that you're not allowed to talk about how, Donald Trump, has a 52-inch cock, and that's why, he couldn't have possibly had sex with that woman. Well, let's say that the judge says, well, actually, we didn't find there's no reason to think his dick is that big. You haven't submitted that. You're not allowed to bring that up in court. Well, what if later on in the news, Trump gets in front of the camera, he's like, I have a 52-inch dick. I've got a 52-inch dick. I got a 52-inch dick. The likelihood of like the jury being influenced by hearing those statements, seeing it in the media, might make them reconsider stuff in the trial, even though that stuff didn't pass on evidentiary grounds, so that the judge wouldn't admit that into the courtroom. So I don't think gag orders are that uncommon for super popular cases. Now, I know in places, I think like the United Kingdom, they either auto-gag or they gag way more harshly on shit. Whew. But Trump hush money trial. What is the gag order and what does it do? The judge overseeing Donald Trump's criminal trial on charges stemming from hush money paid to a porn star will on Tuesday consider prosecutors' request to fine the former U.S. president for violating a gag order barring him from talking publicly about certain people involved in the case and their families. Trump has pleaded not guilty to falsifying business records to cover up his former lawyer, Michael Cohen's $130,000 payment before the 2016 election to stop adult film actress Stormy Daniels from talking about a sexual encounter she says she and Trump had in 2006. Trump denies an encounter. What's the gag order do? It prevents Trump from making public statements about witnesses concerning their political or their potential testimony, about jurors or prospective jurors, and about prosecutors, court staff, and their family members if those statements are meant to interfere with the case. Court staff would include the judge, I'm assuming, right? Oh, no, it wouldn't actually, because on April 1st, McCann extended the gag order to cover his own family members and family members of Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg, whose office charged Trump. The order does not restrict Trump's statements about McCann and Bragg. Okay. And Trump has still been making posts attacking Cohen and Stormy Daniels, apparently. Damn, wait, where is this in Manhattan? Probably, right? I should have been trying to catch a picture. When did this happen? Mershon? Is that how you pronounce it? Okay. What happens if you break a gag order? I don't know. Either a fine or penalties for breaking gag order. Anytime you violate an order of the court, including a gag order, you could be found guilty of contempt. If you're facing contempt charges for violating a gag order, you should speak with a criminal defense attorney as soon as possible. Contempt of court violation penalty, New York. If you're convicted of any degree of this crime, your outlook is bleak in terms of sentencing. Second degree is an A-class misdemeanor, while a first-degree conviction is an E felony. These crimes are punishable with sentences of up to 1 year in jail and 4 years in state prison, respectively. Aggravated criminal contempt trumps both crimes. Trump is a D felony, punishable by as many as 7 years in upstate. So let's see. I'm guessing he would get the least one, right? Like second degree criminal contempt. What does that look like? This is for New York. This is for violating a restraining order, commonly called orders of protection. Okay, what is a first degree criminal contempt? Aggravated criminal. No way it would be all the way up to this one. Control F, gag order. Huh. Would you be held in criminal? There's not like a civil contempt, is there? Contempt is always going to be like a criminal thing, right? I don't know. I don't know what you'd be charged with. Holy shit. So the judge today, so right now they're hearing on whether or not he's violated his gag order, basically. There is civil contempt? Oh. Remove the gag order. What do you have to hide? Holy shit. Broad, what are you doing? What are you doing? Former President Donald Trump and conspiracy theorist Laura Loomer are pushing this ridiculous idea that the daughter of Judge Mershon, the judge in his New York hush money case, had an image of Trump behind bars, their ex-profile picture. It turns out that Loomer fell for a fake account after the judge's daughter renamed her account. Oh, Laura Loomer was the one who started this?
A brand new conspiracy theory is taking X and other social media by storm yesterday. And
February, March. This is like 3 weeks ago. Damn. Damn. Do you think they would do a default judgment like they did with Alex Jones losing his case? I don't know what you mean by default judgment. Wouldn't default judgment refer to stuff relating to civil cases? Like you'd win whatever the default damages are or some bullshit? God, we should just go to law school. The base law school arc. Default judgment. Florida rules of civil procedure allow a plaintiff to move for a default judgment when a defendant fails to file or serve any paper by the deadline. Yeah. I don't think a default judgment makes sense for a criminal matter.
Media in, is the university keeping the media out? This is the COO of the university.
Chat, why do so many leftists disagree with Destiny, even though they agree on absolute majority of subjects? Just watch the most recent drama, and he was laughing at us the whole time. People on the left, people on the far left, and people on the center left, and progressives will agree with me on the majority of things. But leftists, people that call themselves leftists online, they're going to be socialists and communists, like anti-illiberal, anti-capitalist people. Those people have about as much in common with me as like a Nazi does. Those people we have almost nothing in common politically in terms of what we'll believe. Leftist, when people call themselves a leftist, they usually are talking about being a socialist or communist, online at least. In the United States or in U.S. politics, you might people will call everybody a leftist who's left of anything, but in online and more broadly, when somebody says leftist, they're usually referring to a socialist or communist.
Are we not letting the media in?
The fuck is this? I haven't followed this Columbia University shit at all.
Is the university keeping the media out? This is the COO of the university. Are we not letting the media in? What? Can you back up, please? My card has been deactivated? Why? Can you back up, please? Wait. Everybody, my card has been deactivated. This is Cass Holloway, the COO. This is Gerald Lewis. They were in the meeting where I asked them if Hamas is a terror organization, and they couldn't say that it is a terrorist organization. Why? I'm a professor. Why can I?
Shai,
No. Speak out loud so the media
Shai,
can hear.
we are willing to take you to the math lawn.
No, I am a professor here. Wait, everybody quiet. I am a...
Wait, I don't understand. I'm sorry, I don't understand. Why the fuck would it matter if the school thinks that Hamas is a terrorist organization? Why would you even want to answer that? Or why the fuck would that even matter?
Everybody quiet. I am a professor here. I have every right to be everywhere on campus. You cannot let people that support Hamas on campus and me, a professor, not go on campus. Let me in now.
Let us in!
No.
They literally banned the professor for being against Hamas at the university from getting inside. Okay, listen, I'm going to be honest. I don't know anything about this case, okay? But just looking at this here, I'm pushing X to doubt a lot. Was that really all he did? He just said, I'm against Hamas? Or was he doing other cringe shit?
Are you not letting a professor go on?
Let him in! Let him in!
And you know
Let Shai in!
No, you're gonna let me. No, you're gonna let me everywhere. You're gonna let me in any public space on campus. And you notice, if you are not allowed there, then you say that you're not allowed there. I am allowed there. And wait, no, listen to me now. You will listen to me. I rarely lose my.
They aren't letting people in because there's a bunch of pro-Palestinian people protesting right now, and it's not safe for him to be there. Okay.
You know what? I wish you'd let me into my job. No, everybody.
If it's like during a protest, I think that's more understandable. Cops will even do that in public areas, but I would need way more background on this to have a strong opinion.
Please. Can I stand here so people are seeing?
Like, even though you have a First Amendment free speech right to be outside protesting, if you're protesting and then someone else is protesting next to you and it looks like the crowd is getting like rowdy and cops feel like there might be some shit about to go down, cops will tell people to leave. Like, hey, get the fuck out of here or go down the street or get away, because they'll do things to mitigate like potential conflict. I don't know if that's what's happening here. I don't know anything about this, but...
Is that okay, or you're not letting me do it?
This is a disgrace to the institution and the alumni.
Everybody silence! Everybody! Over here we got the COO of Columbia University, Mr. Cass Holloway. Wait, no! They have deactivated my card. They are not letting me on campus because... I have not just a civil right as a Jewish person to be on campus. I have a right as a professor employed.
Shouldn't they have made the protesters leave and not one professor? I don't know. It depends. If it's like a 1 hour protest or a 2 hour protest and he doesn't have like a reason to be here besides wanting to go counter protest, I can understand it. If this is like a protest that's stretched over days or it's like taking up a huge part of the campus and this guy just wants to do his job or something, then I'd say no, that's definitely not okay. But again, I need like so much more background information on this.
By the university to be on campus. They deactivated my card. These are 5 lawsuits happening, but we don't want to sue. We just want to be Jewish.
Like the deactivating the card thing is a little crazy. That's kind of wild.
In public.
How can you do that? How can you do this?
I am a professor at the university. No, you cannot.
All right, they're denying you entry. That's not us.
Are you denying me entry? Please do not. Wait. Everybody, can I get this?
What I can't have.
Why should a school be allowed to glorify terrorist groups by not calling Hamas what it actually is? That's exactly what they are doing. I don't think the school needs to take a position on this. Listen, holy shit, please do not do not misunderstand, okay? What should be allowed and what shouldn't be allowed and what's good and what's bad, okay? Hamas is a horrible group of people. Call them terrorists if you want, that's fine, okay? Disgusting, deplorable, and the people that support Hamas are disgusting fucking people. All of the people protesting are disgusting fucking people. However, this is the United States of America, and if you want to march up and down the street saying, God bless Hamas, I hope Hamas eradicates all the Jews in Israel, I support Nazis, the KKK, whatever the fuck, then that is your negative freedom. That is your God-given fucking right in the United States. That's one of the things that makes this country great. So they should be allowed to protest in favor of Hamas if they want, assuming they're not on private property, assuming they're not breaking any school rules. So the protest should be allowed to happen. Abso-fucking-lutely. Because this is the goddamn United States, and we're allowed to do that here. As long as there aren't any laws or regulations or whatever being broken on the college campus. Like Columbia, isn't Columbia, like that's a private school, so obviously the rules are going to be different here, but... Why are you not allowed to protest with Nazi flags in the streets then? I'm sorry, are you a European? In the United States of America, you can absolutely protest with Nazi flags. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. This isn't Germany. This isn't Europe, son. We can do whatever the fuck we want here with flags, as long as you're not doing a direct call to violence. Or there's not porn on it, I guess. Hi, what's up?
Hey, I noticed you were already kind of leaning in the right direction. I actually wanted to give a little bit more context into this because I looked into this. And
wait. Do you want to just come back in like 20 minutes? Because people link me articles. I'll probably just read an article on this so I see what's actually going on, rather than you telling me and then I read an article.
I'll drop one in case it's one that you want to read, and I'll be back in 20 maybe.
Okay, be careful. Isn't it also First Amendment right to go onto campus too? Yeah, you should be able to. But again, that's why the only thing I'm saying is that sometimes you will say, protests can be broken up temporarily if there's like a safety concern, but that can't be something that happens for like days, right? So like if this is, some people are saying, but I'll just read an article on this.
We can't have this block.
People have one thing I noticed with you guys, this is funny. I don't know if I can ever break you guys from this habit, or maybe it's not. I don't even think I need to pay anything for this. It's like, there will be a situation where a girl will walk into a house and a guy is there, and the guy says, I'm going to kill you no matter what, bitch. And then he runs towards the woman, and then she takes out her pistol and she shoots the guy, okay, before he attacks her, and she kills him. And then I'll get a story about this, and someone will say, do you think that a woman should be able to kill her husband in her house? And I'll look at it, and I'll be like, oh, geez, she shot her husband in the house. Well, damn, that's pretty crazy. In general, no, I don't think you should be able to shoot your significant others during fights. I mean, like, if he threatened her or something, maybe that would change things. And then everyone in chat will be like, no, he threatened her. No, that's not. And it's like, okay, chill, okay? If I don't know the details, I'm just giving a general opinion on it, all right? I've got articles up. We'll read it, okay? So right now, I'm just going through a general opinion on things, and then we'll get more precise and more narrow as we get deeper into the fucking story, okay? Jesus fucking Christ. It's like you're unable to engage with the general or the abstract or the hypothetical if there's a specific example available. Why should we be tolerant with people who are racist and are against everything that America stands for? I'm a European. Well, because even what America stands for can be contentious at times. But, I mean, like, that's just part of how the American experiment has worked out so far, that people are allowed to say what they want. They've got the freedom to do so. There have been unbelievably unpopular things in the past that have changed, arguably for the better. Like, America as a country initially stood for the institutions of slavery, was opposed to women's suffrage, interned Japanese people during a war. I mean, yeah, there are things that like average Americans supported that have now fallen out of support. So yeah, I think it's good that part of what makes this country great is the flexibility to learn and grow and change the actual legal structure of our foundational guiding ultra like dominant document like our Constitution, the ability to change that in response to times and changes of opinion. I think that's good. And in order to have that process working fluidly, you probably need to protect a great deal of speech, including incredibly popular speech. Okay.
Get up here. Do the right thing and get this crowd back this time.
Everybody, whoa, everybody, we are cooperating with the NYPD. Let's step back. If Mr. Holloway, the COO, is willing to make a comment to the media, I would love that. Everybody move back.
Please, ladies.
How much intolerance and illiberalism is too much then, or there's no line to be crossed? I think all of it is unacceptable. I don't support any amount of illiberalism and fuck intolerance to some extent. But but there's a difference in lines. Like I think culturally we shouldn't accept or tolerate any of it, but legally that's a different question, right? My understanding is that freedom of speech is limited on campus, and you agree to that when you enroll. You're restricted as to what you can say in order to protect the safety of the students. Well, keep in mind that I believe there's going to be substantially different policies between public institutions and private ones, right? Like when we did the Change My Mind stuff, I think we had like a state-protected right to go and set up on campuses as long as we didn't have speakers and stuff. That's how I was able to do my Change My Mind thing. But I don't think we could do that at a private campus. Like if we went to Harvard or some shit, they could just say, sorry, get the fuck out of here. This is private property. Like you have no right to be here at all. Whereas I think for public colleges, for like state schools and stuff, I think you do have, because it's public, it's literally publicly paid for property. So there are going to be public rights, I think, that are afforded to you, I believe. How would you delineate the cultural rejection from the legal rejection? Well, in one case, I say fuck you, and in another case, I send a police officer to arrest you. Before we read the story. Wait, hold on. There's always one car per day that's just doing some cringe fucking shit out here. Sorry. Okay. Fuck. I was trying to think of a badass song in the background to give her. I don't know what I would give her. I don't know. Fuck it. Never mind. Never forget this lady. God, she's so cool. No, what is it doing? What? I don't understand why it turns on and off. Like, are they... Is it the same car every day, do you think? Or do you think it's... I want to take... Do you think if I were to take Lav to the West Bank and have her do this cosplay in like Area B or Area A, do you think she'd do it? Holy shit. Okay. All right. We're done. All right. Sorry, hold on. Going through links. The Columbia one is in here. What is this? New. Thanks to an order by Judge Cannon, key evidence related to classified docs case is now unredacted. On the left, what DOJ/Jack Smith wanted to conceal. On the right, now we know why. More proof of collaboration between Biden, White House, and NARA to concoct a case. Oh, shit. Here we go. Finally. Pre-indictment investigative action activities. Almost as soon as President Trump left office, NARA started to work with the White House Office of Records Management on exaggerated claims related to records handling under the PRA. On May 5th, 2021, less than 5 months after the end of President Trump's term, NARA General Counsel Gary Stern, example 1, Stern noted that Stern's draft, see also, however, in early June 2021, during ongoing good faith efforts by President Trump's PRA representatives to address issues raised by NARA, what actually happened? Almost as soon as President Trump left office, NARA started to work with the White House Office of Records Management on exaggerated claims related to records handling under the PRA. On May 5th, 2021, less than 5 months after the end of President Trump's term, NARA General Counsel Gary Stern sent an internal email attaching a draft letter to President Trump's PRA representatives. Example 1, Stern noted that he had several conversations with WHRM and that per 40, blank had raised some of these concerns directly with David, a NARA activist. Stern's draft conceded that things were very chaotic, as they always are in the course of a one-term transition, and he acknowledged that the transfer of the Trump electronic records is still ongoing and won't be completed for several more months. NARA employee explaining to FBI that it is not uncommon that PRA material collection extends past the close of any presidential administration, sometimes well after the close of any given presidential administration. However, in early June 2021, during ongoing good faith efforts by President Trump's PRA representatives to address issues raised by NARA, Ferrario declared, "I am out of patience." What did you think this was supposed to prove? Now we know why. More proof of collaboration between Biden, White House, and NARA to concoct a case. Hold on. Never mind. Okay. Do you see Crystal Ball on Piers Morgan said the first Intifada was overwhelmingly non-violent? I mean, in general, it was. Compared to the second one, it was. I think they still might have killed 1,000 Palestinians, though, for suspected collaboration with Israel. On the first Intifada? I think they did. Or that might have only been the second one. Oh, no, it was 360 killed by Palestinians. I think in the second one there was 1,000 killed. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, yeah, wait, I remember we read this, but it's not listed up here. I don't remember why. If we got super ambitious, do you think it'd be worth going through some of these Wikipedia articles and, like, editing them? So up here it says for casualties and losses, it says there were 1,600 Palestinians killed by Israelis and 359 killed by Palestinians. And then down here, it's sourcing from a Benny Morris book. The Intifada seems to have lost... Oh, no, wait. I think it's just an article, but... Roughly 18,000 Palestinians comprised by Israeli intelligence are said to have given information to the other side. Collaborators were threatened with death or ostracism unless they desisted, and if their collaboration with the occupying power continued, were executed by special troops such as the Black Panthers and Red Eagles, an estimated 771, according to the AP, to 942, according to the IDF. Palestinians were executed on suspicion of collaboration during the span of the Intifada. So this estimates anywhere from 771 to 942, but that's not listed up here at all. This number up here is 359. I don't know why. There was another weird one about the Great March of Return as well, where the way they estimate those numbers is like kind of pulled out of thin air too. I tried to like climb down the sourcing on it, and I was trying to read through some of the UN documents on it. I don't know where they got that number either. But I don't know how much if I care enough to be Israel's bravest Wikipedia warrior. Did anybody even read this? What part of this shows collaboration? Oh, okay, we've got more here. In an August 30th, 2021 email, Ferrario threatened one of President Trump's PRA representatives that he was assuming an alleged and non-existent 24 boxes of records have been destroyed, and he was obliged to report it to the Hill, the DOJ, and the White House. I'm sorry, when we say Hill, is this like Capitol Hill, or what do we... Is that slang for just like to the like lawmakers to Congress? Is that what that means when we say Hill? I don't think I've ever seen that shorthand before. Silent Hill? Usually it's the Hill. I'm trying, like, are they actually talking about like the Hill, like the publication thing, or? I think they mean Capitol Hill encompassing all of Congress. That's my assumption. That would be my assumption, right? I think, yeah. Okay. September 1st, 2021, Stern circulated a letter that we could consider sending the Attorney General about missing Trump records. Blank and blank began drafting the DOJ referral letter. During the first week of December 2021, Stern's email stated that he informally reached out to the DOJ counsel about this issue, and that White House counsel is also now aware of the issue and has asked that I keep them in the loop to the extent that we make any reference to the White House Office of Records Management. B, the Biden administration weaponizes the PRA. Oh, wait, what even is this? Is this the, is this like the defense's counter argument or something, or counter claim, like pre-trial motion stuff or whatever? Or where are my lawyer people? The Biden administration weaponizes the PRA. In late September 2021, and without disclosing that NARA had already drafted a referral letter and contacted the DOJ, Deputy White House Counsel Jonathan Su asked one of President Trump's PRA representatives to permit blank to access notes from the Trump administration relating to records handling. Su then intervened when Stern offered to provide a copy of the notes to President Trump's PRA representative. Can we discuss this process before anything is provided to him? Stern agreed to coordinate on this issue with the Biden administration, but informed Su that the request was atypical. Normally, we would have to provide the records to him per the notification/process before we could provide anything to you. 2 days later, Stern assured Su that the PRA representative had not asked to see these records. Destiny, click. Oh, okay. What is this? Oh, thank you. This is the defendant's motions to compel discovery. Gotcha. I see. Yeah, because somebody like this. Okay. Thank you. Oof, we don't have time to read all this. But so a defendant's motion to compel discovery, my guess is that this is a pretrial motion where the defendant is saying, hey, listen, we think that the prosecution might have exculpatory evidence, and we want to be able to dig through their shit to see if there's anything in there that's relevant to exonerating us or my client, would be my guess. Defendant's motion to compel discovery. Motions to compel responses to discovery. If a party or witness fails to adequately respond to a proper request for discovery, the party seeking discovery may file a motion with the AHLJ for an order compelling a response in accordance with the request. Discovery. Would it be a request for production? Any party may serve on any other party a request to produce. To compel. That must be that, right? To produce and permit the other party to inspect and copy any designated documents or things of the possession, custody, or control of the party, and to inspect land in the possession, custody, or control of the party. So this is a request for the production or inspection of something, right? That's what this is, my guess, right? Destiny, they want to jam shit up by asking to see classified shit that they have no business seeing. I mean, maybe, but I mean, I feel like if you're being accused of a thing, at least from what I was reading on Twitter here, I think this is stuff you'd probably want to see if you're being accused of a crime and you think that the other side is collaborating to concoct a crime or something, maybe. Would you actually, I don't know, would you have the right to see that? If prima facie, if the facts laid out show that you had committed a crime, do you have a right to compel the other side to grant you discovery on other things, even if you would have still committed a crime? I'm actually not sure. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. It's a pretrial motion to give over evidence that might be helpful as well as part of the effort to uncover evidence of prosecutor misconduct. Esports Batman, can you compel the other side to give you just discovery, even if, like, if you've committed a crime and you've got no good reason to assume prosecutor misconduct, or how does that work? I'm fairly certain the restrictions are for public release, and Trump's team already has all the documents involved in the case. Oh, huh. Yes, see, Brady v. Maryland, where the prosecution must give over exculpatory evidence. My understanding, though, is that you don't need to do a motion for that. The prosecution is supposed to grant that no matter what. Like, if you're doing an investigation or if you're the prosecution and you come across evidence that's exculpatory to the other side, even if they don't have to submit any motion, you're just supposed to turn that over. Like, you're just supposed to. That's like part of your obligation as a officer of the court, a servant of the court. Is a lawyer a servant of the court? Or is that just like... Attorneys are also officers of the court and owe the court a duty of candor and obedience to court rules. Thus, an attorney owes duties to a court separate from the duties owed to the attorney's client, and the attorney may be disciplined by a court. Officer of the court, yeah, okay. I feel like if the DOJ brought only the Georgia case forward and the mainstream media had been highlighting the Trump leaked call for the last 2 years rather than cases many on both sides sees frivolous, would have been destructive to the Trump campaign. I think all three cases are valid. I just think the New York one is kind of silly. That's really the only one I have huge criticisms of. The other three are totally valid, I think. But also the Georgia case is a Georgia case. It's a state case. The unreality of Colombia's liberated zone. Do I have an Atlantic account? Oh. Which New York one? The fraud or the hush money one? The hush money one. The fraud one was just a civil case, right? What happens when genuine sympathy for civilian suffering mixes with a fervor that borders on the oppressive? By Michael Powell. Yesterday, just before midnight, this was first published on, it was updated on the 22nd of April, published on the 22nd of April. Okay. So, yesterday. You don't see how that's electoral fraud, or you just don't think it's as important? What do you mean? If you commit a crime, I mean, the state has a right to prosecute you for it, right? Yesterday, just before midnight, word goes out, tent to tent, student protester to student protester, a viral warning. Intruders have entered the liberated zone, that swath of manicured grass, where hundreds of students and their supporters, at what they fancy as the People's University for Palestine, sit around tents and conduct workshops about demilitarizing education and fighting settler colonialism and genocide. In this liberated zone, normally known as South Lawn West on the Columbia University Quad, unsympathetic outsiders are treated as a danger.
Hey, as a quick aside, I hate to interrupt, but motion to compel discovery, that's the whole point of it, is that you're basically saying the other side isn't providing what they're obligated to provide, and that you're going before the judge to say, this is specifically what we want them to provide evidence for. And here's why we don't think they're complying with the orders or the obligations of the prosecutor.
Oh, okay. So discovery is kind of like, that's like an automatic process, right? And then if you feel like they're hiding something in discovery, then you're doing a motion about like, hey, like there are call records that we know exist because of this thing they provided, and we think that that's actually important to us. And then you would argue before a judge whether or not they need to provide those logs or something, basically, right?
In order to compel, yes. But as far as discovery, more generally speaking, usually there are back and forth arguments on the scope, and then the judge will set the discovery order, which will say, these are the things that are needing to be provided back and forth as far as each party's obligation is responsible. The Brady v. Maryland thing, you're absolutely correct about, that they do have an affirmative obligation to do this, but in a position where Trump is in, where one of the arguments that he's trying to make is that the prosecutor has been acting improperly or doesn't even have the authority that he has. This is part of their motion to compel discovery because they want to basically allege that Jack Smith is misusing his prosecutorial powers and deliberately targeting him in a political manner as opposed to actual evidence of a crime.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Hope that helps.
Yep. The Trump case is more of an electoral fraud case than just hush money. The media calling it a hush money case severely downplays his intent and its impact on the election. You're kind of right. That's kind of fair, I guess. Because like the issue really isn't that it's just hush money. The fact is that technically Cohen would have been the recipient of a huge donation that was unreported because it would have exceeded campaign contribution limits, essentially, right? Kind of? Is that correct? Attention, everyone. We have Zionists who have entered the camp, a protest leader calls out. His head is wrapped in a white and black keffiyeh. Keffiyeh. That's the Palestinian cringe shit. We are going to create a human chain where I'm standing so that they do not pass this point and infringe on our privacy. Privacy struck me as a peculiar goal for an outdoor protest at a prominent university. But it's been a strange 7-month journey from Hamas's horrific slaughter of Israelis, the original breach of a ceasefire, to the liberated zone on the Columbia campus and similar standing protests at other elite universities. What I witnessed seemed less likely to persuade than to give collective voice to righteous anger. A genuine sympathy for the suffering of Gazans mixed with a fervor and a politics that could border on the oppressive. Dozens stand and echo the leader's commands in unison, word for word, so that we can push them out of the camp one step forward, another step forward. The protesters lock arms and step towards the interlopers, who, as it happens, are 3 fellow Columbia students who are Jewish and pro-Israel. Jessica Swalb, a Columbia junior, is one of those labeled an intruder. In truth, she does not fear much violence, They're Columbia students, too nerdy, too worried about their futures to hurt us, she tells me, as she is taken aback by the sight of fellow students chanting like automatons. She raises her phone to start recording video. One of the intruders speaks up to ask why they are being pushed out. Do you think the car is someone trying to geolocate you? I hope so.
So that we can start to push them.
Holy shit. I didn't know phones can have astigmatisms.
Forward. So that we can start to push them out of the camp. One step forward. Another step forward. We ask that you please respect our privacy and our community guidelines, which you have so far disrespected, and leave our camp. One step forward. Have you gotten enough video? Because I look very pretty.
You guys don't have to do this, you know? You're all here because we're here. Why are you giving us
We
that
were here
power?
before you came here.
I understand that, but you're doing what
Repeat after me.
You're doing what you're doing.
I'm bored. We would like you to leave.
You just did that for me.
Repeat after me. I'm bored.
My name's Aiden. We're just actually trying to have a community meeting in a second.
Right, it's the same
Have a conversation.
They said they're going to push us off the lawn.
Well,
we're asking you nicely if you'll please leave.
Why can't we be on the lawn?
Because you're not respecting the safety.
I'm on the lawn. You know I pay to go here. And I pay for this lawn to be manicured. I pay for the lights to be on. And if you're a student, you're also paying for that. And so we're all equally allowed to utilize these resources. So why can't I be on this lawn?
I'm not saying you can't. I'm just asking you if you can please leave. Because you're not respecting the safety of people.
No, but that literally makes no sense.
You violated the community guidelines, which is grounds for us to ask you to leave.
What community?
Wait, when did this start? I didn't miss this, did I? Was I in New York City when this was happening? I hope not. I wonder if it's worth it, like, going down and, like, just interviewing people for shit like this. It started last weekend? Oh, 2 nights ago. Okay. Whew. Wait, this has been going on for weeks? Why am I hearing different things? The leader talks over them, dismissing such inquiries as tiresome. Repeat after me, he says, and 100 protesters dutifully repeat. I'm bored. We would like you to leave. As the crowd draws closer, Schwab and her friends pivot and leave. Even the next morning, she's baffled at how they were targeted. Save for a friend who wore a Star of David necklace, none wore identifying clothing. Maybe, she says, they smelled the Zionists on us. As the war has raged on, the death toll has grown. Protest rallies on American campuses have morphed into a campaign of ever grander and more elaborate ambitions. From ceasefire now to the categorical claim that Israel is guilty of genocide and war crimes to demands that Colombia divest from Israeli companies and any American company selling arms to the Jewish state. Many protesters argue that, from the river to the sea, the settler colonialist state must simply disappear. To inquire, as I did at Columbia, what would happen to Israelis living under a theocratic fascist movement such as Hamas is to ask the wrong question. A young female protester who asked not to be identified for fear of retribution responded, maybe Israelis need to check their privilege. No shot. Oh my God. Of late, at least one rabbi has suggested that Jewish students depart the campus for their own safety. Columbia President Minouche Shafik acknowledged in a statement earlier today that at her university, there have been too many examples of intimidating and harassing behavior. To avoid trouble, she advised classes to go virtual today and said, our preference is that students who do not live on campus will not come to campus. That's wild. Moving classes off campus because you're worried about student protests? Tensions have, in fact, kept ratcheting up. Last week, Shafiq called in the New York City police force to clear an earlier iteration of the tent city and to arrest students for trespassing. The university suspended more than 100 of these protesters, accusing them, according to the Columbia Spectator, of disruptive behavior, violation of law, violation of university policy, failure to comply, vandalism or damage to property, and unauthorized access or egress. Even some Jewish students and faculty, unsympathetic to the protesters, say the president's move was an accelerant to the crisis, producing misdemeanor martyrs to the pro-Palestinian cause. A large group of faculty members walked out this afternoon to express their opposition to the arrests and suspensions. Bold. You can't see it. It says bold, beautiful, suspended. Holy fucking cringe. It didn't seem like any kind of measures were taken to de-escalate, Kawaja said. Kawaja? It also just seems completely unnecessary. This was by all accounts a non-violent protest. It was a group of students camping out on the lawn in the middle of campus. It's not any different from everyday life on campus. Personally, I would say that anything that involves like physical denial to an area, I would consider that as having become essentially like a violent protest. So if people are trying to push you out of an area, or if people are blocking access to an area, like, or maybe there needs to be a word between physical and nonviolent, but like I definitely wouldn't consider that a nonviolent. It'd be way closer to a violent one than a nonviolent one. Like you're using force to exclude somebody from an area. As for the encampment itself, it has an intifada meets Woodstock quality at times. Dance clubs offer interpretive performances. There are drummers and other musicians, and obscure poets reading obscure poems. Some tents break out by identity groups: lesbians against genocide, Hindus for intifada. Banners demand the release of all Palestinian prisoners. Small Palestinian flags embroidered with the names of Palestinian leaders killed in Gaza are planted in the grass. During my 9-hour visit, talking with student protesters proved tricky. Upon entering the zone, I was instructed to listen as a gatekeeper read community guidelines that included not talking with people not authorized to be inside, a category that seemed to include anyone of differing opinions. I then stood in a press zone and waited for Layla Saliba, a social work graduate student who served as a